Right. Right. Okay. Here we go. You ready for this? Hello there. Let me some eggnog. Now, something happened here. I wasn't planning on doing any more Christmas reviews for at least most of the week. But, things happen. I actually recorded a review for this movie, Jack Frost. And somehow it didn't get uploaded. I was looking at stuff, having a look at my Christmas playlist, and there was a deleted video in there. I don't know what happened with that, but here we go. Jack Frost, not the Killer Snowman movie, but the Michael Keaton family comedy movie, which also stars the late Kelly Preston, may she rest in peace, and Mark Addy. It is about a singer named Jack Frost. Yes, that is his real name. Who it's your standard generic father. Is a workaholic, spends too much time on work and not enough with his family. But where a normal film would take the runtime of the film for him to realize it, he realizes this within the first half hour of the film and decides, I'm going to go home and I'm going to have fun at Christmas with my family. But then unfortunately ends up in a car accident that takes his life. Before this though, he does give his son Charlie a harmonica, which he says is magical, and whenever he plays it, he'll always hear him. And Charlie goes to give it back, but it somehow ends up back with Charlie. And so, before this, Charlie had friends and everything, and now Charlie's withdrawn. It's hit him hard. It's now a year later, around Christmas, and Charlie builds a snowman and uses some of his dad's things like a hat, scarf, stuff like that, and he finds a harmonica. He plays the harmonica, and Jack is transformed into the snowman. So most of the movie is, the snowman then getting to be reacquainted, the hijinks with the snowman. It's typical, I'm a snowman, look at me, and stuff like that. When the snowman is practical, it's Jim Henson's Creature Shop that did the effects for the practical puppet of Jack Frost. And it's a puppet, it works. When it gets to CGI, though, not so much. And so the story becomes where, he's a snowman, so eventually it's going to start to get warmer outside. So he's going to start to melt. Now Charlie's trying to save his father any way he can. And it's colder up in the mountains, so he decides he's got to take him up to the mountains. Of course, no one believes the snowman's alive anyway, but, As mentioned, Mark Addy is in this. He plays Jack's best friend, Mac. And I know him best from what I call Bill and Judy Still Standing, which was a fantastic sitcom, which criminally does not have a DVD release. I wish it would. It's a fantastic show. I would buy that shit right away. But I looked left and right. All I found is stupid Elton John stuff. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good song, but not what I'm looking for. So, this movie, good movie. I recommend it. Show it to your kids. I recommend this film wholeheartedly. Are there any problems with it? Besides the CGI, there are a couple things that kind of, it's not really, I don't really hold it against the film, but it's just a couple of things that I've noticed, is that this film does what a lot of 90s films, kids films did, and that's what they have this bully, there's an opposing authority, and by the end of the film, the bully becomes the kid's friend. There's this bully, Rory Buck, and he's picking on him. But then they bond because they both don't have fathers now, and and Charlie's like, hey, if you could do anything for your father, wouldn't you? And so he helps him, take him, put him in a truck and send him. And I feel like that's a cliche that happens a lot, especially in kids' movies from the 90s and whatever. Disney did it quite a bit. In the movie The Other Me, which starred Andrew Lawrence, who's also in this film, minor role. So is Henry Rollins, by the way. Henry Rollins, that kind of a badass guy you get scared by a snowman, but I digress. Yeah, and there was a bully in The Other Me who ends up becoming a friend by the end of the movie. I do that a lot. And yeah, another thing is the logic in this, not just the snowman thing. No, so when Charlie is trying to save his father, the snowman, he tells his mom that his dad's the snowman and he's going to bring him to the mountains where it's cold. She doesn't believe him, so he runs off. She goes to get Mac because they're going to go look for Charlie. And they just look in the town. But he just told you he was going to the mountains to save the snowman. But no, they just search the town and then go home. They don't even think about the mountains, which is where they should be going, right? Right? But they don't. Why? Because plot convenience. And then when she finally does go to the mountains, at the behest of her dead snowman husband, she doesn't take Mac with her. She does say Jack at the end of it, but you don't think she fully believes that it's him. Why would she go? For all she knows, it could be a kidnapper wanting a ransom, could have a gun. And she doesn't bring protection, she doesn't bring Mac's protection. Not only that, but that then doesn't allow, because we find out that Mac stopped playing music after Jack died. And then at the end of the film, without even seeing Jack, he's playing music on the piano again. Now, what if we played into that? What if he saw Jack and Jack said something like, you shouldn't have given up music, man. You were good on the keys. And then we see him playing piano. Not just that, we lead into it. Like instead of just he's already playing it, he walks up to the piano, he sits down, and he starts playing. And he smiles. He says, thanks, Jack. Something like that, Lead up to it. It's just like he's just playing music, and we don't know why, because for all we know, he didn't believe Charlie about the snowman. Who knows? But yeah, this movie is pretty good. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoy watching it. I watch it every year. I watch it with my son. It's a fantastic film, I think. Some problems with it. It's decent, for a watch for a Christmas movie. So, what are your thoughts on Jack Frost? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Am I going to do the Killer Snowman ones? Every time I say goodbye, I cry a little. Matt? You looking for the power?